Hello and welcome. You're listening to Creatively Free, and I'm your host, Ariel Grace. Today's topic is taking a closer look at our need to control. The word itself implies that we are not comfortable with the uncertainty of our existence. Because of that, humans run around, myself included, creating order, creating structure, creating systems, creating a sense of perhaps if I feel that my environment and the things that I do have dominion over, if I feel that they are in order, if I feel that they are aligned, aesthetically pleasing, whatever it is for you that gives you that sense of control, then perhaps I don't have to spend as much time or energy really sitting with the deepest fear in my being that I may not know why I exist, if I will be safe, if I will be loved, if I am love. All those deep fears and existential questions, if never explored or observed, we move towards habits to control the illusion, controlling the illusion that we understand our place in the cosmos. Controlling an illusion. How interesting is that? We're attempting to control something that is not real. And so what is real? When I got my coaching, they described the program as ontological, which is the study of what is real. And I have been contemplating that a long time, because as my awareness shifts, my perception of what is real shifts. So how will I ever know what is real? And what I want to invite in is the opportunity to create new metaphors in language around this concept of control and the desire for control in our somatic and our body experience, and in our way of accepting and showing up for life. And the reason that this is coming up in particular is that I have noticed a lot of programs and trainings in both coaching and spiritual circles that are widely known and accepted, that focus on identifying shadow or saboteur states in the human, and or something about, the mind, the monkey mind, identifying those things, those experiences that all humans have as bad or something that needs to be controlled. So I recently saw someone, a shaman woman, wanting to do a talk about mind control. And I also am currently with a study group of coaches listening to the book and doing some work around Positive Intelligence, a book by Shirzad Shamin. And he's a lovely man, a lovely international best-selling author and coach and trainer. However, the premise is that we need to create war metaphors and treat our saboteurs or shadow states as enemies, and that intercepting a shadow state or a moment when we feel we haven't been behaving in a habit that is in our highest interest with retraining and reprogramming the mind through somatic and focus orientations, sense-based trainings and practices. And intercepts are cool. I'm not opposed to them. Breath work and many other ways can create intercepts for us with habits that we're trying to reshape. However, I would like to use that word that I just said, reshape. It's the title of the poetry book that I have published. And it's actually a process that I use to help people at a very deep soul level shift their narrative. What I would suggest is the alternative to allowing those words like enemy and control and all of those things. They create the perception of wrongness and badness about a part of your being and your psyche. And so what really is desired for those disintegrated, fragmented parts of yourself that you don't feel like your conscious observer relates to is to integrate them. We're being given the opportunity to return to more self-acceptance and wholeness when we observe parts of ourselves that we might judge or might want to shift. And so what I always offer the invitation around that type of thing is to treat those parts of ourselves with love and compassion as you would a loving mother to a child that is acting out in a rebellious way. And that might mean just listening and recording what it is that's beneath that habit with yourself or with a coach or a therapist. That might mean therapeutic or touch-based, like hugging yourself is become an actual therapeutic method, believe it or not. So these basic things that we need are just oriented around love. And we all know what love feels like. And if we don't have someone in our lives that can give that to our deepest soul, we need to be able to find the access points to give it to ourselves. I invite, when you find that desire to control, manipulate, cut out, push away, get rid of any part of yourself, that you open to the idea that there could be another way to address any fragmented piece of you, or if you're seeing that in the external world. How can you transmute the judgment response around something that isn't where it needs to be in its own development? Transmute that into love and find and open to the responses that are needed that come from a compassionate place. So the metaphor that I like to offer around this is where if I am a sculptor and I am going to sculpt a beautiful piece with clay, let's say, the clay and me are not separate. I am not the only consciousness that is forcing or controlling the clay to conform to the shape that I want it to be. I am not going to push and pound on that clay to make it be a certain way. What I am going to do is allow that clay is part of the magical aliveness of everything. And then it wants to speak to me as I want to speak to it in a union experience as I use a little more consciousness, because I happen to be in a form that has a little more, to direct and shape this beautiful clay into the shape that I want it to be. And if it doesn't turn out to be exactly like what my mind, which is more control oriented, usually wants it to be, I invite in compassion for the clay and for me as I find and discover through the creational process the form that I wanted to become. I'd love to hear what your experience is with control and shaping of your life and your experiences. So share with me. Thanks for tuning in.